This video falls under fair use. Fair use allows commentary, criticism, and reactions. What's up, back with another one. Today we're getting into Joe Budden reacting to the Kenyon Martin and Tim Thomas situation. So let's check this clip out.
Word.
Didn't hear it.
His face just went blank like.
Right, that's all you can do.
Oh man,
Yo, I hate 50-year-old men that still have beef over dumb shit.
Who?
50-year-old man. You see Tim Thomas and Kenyon Martin going back and forth?
Yeah.
Kenyon Martin just made a 30-minute response video to Tim Thomas.
Beefing over.
Tim Thomas went on Uncle and
Tony
Yayo's show. And as they were doing their hard-hitting journalism, they asked it was wonderful. It was
Go ahead.
top shelf journalism. They asked Tim Thomas some questions, and Tim basically said that he pressed Kenyon Martin in a club and then embarrassed him in his hometown. First, a beef started in New York and then went to Dallas somehow. They're talking about from 20 years ago, literally 20 years ago, and I don't know who right and who wrong. I like Tim Thomas. I like Kenyon Martin. I don't really care. But then Kenyon makes a 26-minute video responding to this, reenacting this, and it's like, one, I hope this ain't what podcasting is becoming.
It is.
It is. Sure, it is.
And two, like, why are we doing it? Like, they gotta be better to argue.
I think it's the platform too you go to and start sharing those stories. Because I feel like you go up to Yayo and Uncle, salute to them, but you feel like you have to give some type of that story because their energy is very much so beef and some type of street connected to it. I think if you go to another platform that's not really running off of that, you don't get that same story. So that might have just been the mode he was in, being with them. I don't think if he goes sits with
The View, he ain't
about to go ahead and keep that
the
going.
questioning gonna be different. Like I ain't see it, but they might ask you like, "Yo, so you ever had an issue with a thing in the league?
You impressed somebody in the
like,
club?
you ever had an issue with somebody in the league, and then that would, you know what I mean, spark that type of dialogue? Because again, like you saying, it is some. And they'll be like, you ever tell us about a time that, and so you'll say, I agree with you. Even if you had that issue and you know who Kenyon Martin is, you know he gonna respond.
right.
You know where it's gonna go,
smoke.
and we in the content space, and that's what everybody's doing for content.
Has Tim on a very worldwide side like always been known for being like the tough guy in the league? That's not something that he always
He's a
went
boxer,
by, right?
He did Golden Gloves growing up.
No.
But that's not something that was like
so players know that he can hold his hands, but he's not like an enforcer. He was never an enforcer in the NBA.
Well, the players might know. I'm just about the public, the general public. So maybe this is also a matter of everyone looks at Kenyon Martin as that tough guy. Players, public, he was never the person to play with. Maybe Tim feel like I don't get that same level of respect, and I'm also
At 50, that's
But you 50, who gives a?
But that ties to.
I don't want to get. My memory is bad.
He not 50, but
no,
my memory is bad. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt, because I be forgetting. I want to say the word on Tim was that he played with them things coming up.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say that.
But that was part of the story. He was even as he tells the story, he said I flew private so that I could bring my gun to Dallas when I was up in his hood.
I think that been long term with Tim Thomas.
He said that himself in this interview.
I never.
Yeah, Tim, he from Patterson.
Patterson.
I know.
This whole situation feels bigger than just two former players going back and forth. It really shows how quickly old stories can turn into fresh headlines when microphones and cameras are involved.
But even in basketball,
people from Patterson, y'all. It's true.
Yeah, but from Dallas might not know, but
when you the number one
Wisconsin
player in the country.
Sometimes
life is life. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that, like even in the basketball sphere, like Tim Thomas was always that. Yeah. So, and when you growing up in the hoods, oftentimes the old heads be like, "Yo, stop
protect that one."
That was number one player in the country in like 10th grade. Like he was him. 6'10" with jumpers. Yeah, it was him, Shaheem, Kobe. Like it was 6'10" with jumpers and handles and all of that shit. Like
he was special.
Yeah,
but he boxed his whole life. So I think
Patterson is known for boxing.
So it ties to the Napoleon complex to me too. Because we always think of the little dude that's always got something to prove, but sometimes it be the big dude that got something to prove too. Especially I find basketball players who are known for not being able to fight. Basketball players in general, they say can't fight. That they just big for nothing. And so the ones that can, a lot of times have something to prove.
They show it off.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't know if I've ever heard that about basketball players.
Oh yeah.
What, they can't fight?
Yeah.
I never.
No,
heard
that's
that.
been a thing.
Yeah.
I think partially because all the basketball fights on TV be horrendous.
It's super lame.
Yeah.
They ain't never had fights.
And they never get fights. Who's
They
fighting?
never had to fight. You was the All-American, blah, 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 blah. You ain't never have to really get it in.
Yeah, who wants to fight the 6'10"?
Yeah.
Somebody just showed me a video of the limbless people doing karate. We're gonna call it
I see.
martial arts.
What you?
With you.
I saw that.
Yo, what they
but I think like this.
What they was hitting?
Them.
The limbs?
Them.
Yo.
The torso.
Bumping. Anyway,
We should have.
sorry to interrupt y'all with that immature. But y'all was saying.
Yo, I said what they
Karate
was
with no
hitting. This them.
Joe Budden's take on the situation between Kenyon Martin and Tim Thomas is less about choosing sides and more about questioning the purpose behind the entire exchange. He makes it clear that he respects both individuals, but struggles to understand why a disagreement from so long ago is being brought back into the spotlight in such a public way. For him, the issue is not the original conflict, but the decision to revisit it now, especially in a media environment where every story can quickly become content. He points out that the platform where these stories are shared plays a major role in how they are told, suggesting that certain spaces encourage more intense or dramatic storytelling. This leads into his broader point about how modern media thrives on reactions, where one statement leads to another response and the cycle continues. Make sure to drop a comment and like this video, and I'll see you in the next video.